No, Gem, you need to press the button. The button, Gem. Gem, the button. Oh, the button. Oh, we're live. Oh, okay. Oh, hi, welcome to ETF2L season 33. This is week 4 coverage of our Team Fortress TV organization. I am TurboTabs. I am the trusty play-by-play caster for this evening, and joining me is caster of the season, analysis extraordinaire. It is Beta. Hello, Beta.
Hey, good to see you again. It's always a pleasure, TurboTabs, and I appreciate you coming in here and immediately shitting on Gem. I can get behind that. That's just good form right there.
Yeah, I had a choice there. I mean, there was some A-star acting, but I kept thinking, I could make Gem look bad on the camera, or I could just get things started. But you know me, I can't resist a good throwing somebody under the bus. Anyway. Speaking of being thrown under the bus, we've got 2 teams tonight that seems quite a, I don't know, like a David versus Goliath scenario, but I'm an out-of-touch gamer, Beta. Maybe you can catch me up. We've got Ascent versus Goon Squad. So, am I right on the money here? Are these 2 teams really that far apart, or am I just wrong?
Well, in the tables, they're like 1 point apart. But Ascent has had a very difficult schedule ahead in the early rounds, and also they've kind of been faltering a little bit. So perhaps like they're not as good as you think, but like by all means they should be way better. But Goon Squad, they have overperformed. They've gotten some pretty good results. They've tied a bunch of teams, and at the same time, we've just seen very good results out of them. And then Ascent have been struggling a bit, and they've played against like 7 in the early round. So it's a bit of a combination of what you have an overperforming team and an underperforming team meeting up, and maybe they just needed a bit of the early season to sort themselves out, or maybe it's just a sign of things to come, where Ascent is actually just not nearly as good as we all thought.
Yeah. Now, this is what I like to call the scariest week of ETF2L, not only for myself, but for the players as well. This is where the tables start to solidify themselves, where you're probably going to stay in the rough spot you're in after tonight's results. And not only is it scary, you've also got scary teams like Ascent, and you've also got a scary team for me to cast, Goon Squad. I have no clue about this team. They've only just come into this ETF2L season from my understanding. They've all got very foreign names, so we're going to have a hilarious exchange calling all these out throughout the game. And we've also got a couple of maps here, like Logjam and Process. Now, Process being the comfort pick, but Logjam being kind of that scary one where I heard it changed like 1 week before the ETF2L started. So, oh boy. Okay, so let's get into this monster of a match. So we'll probably have a quick roster rundown before both teams start. So if you just throw me down Ascent, Beta, I will take care of the scary monster that is Goon Squad.
Oh boy. All right. Okay. We got Ascent Connor. He is going to be medic. Domo is on Demo Man. He's replacing Dr. Phil, who was replacing like who knows, like a D-Ski. Then we have Seposai coming back in full glory. He's been okay so far. I'm still waiting to see him really step into his own. Then we got Polygon, absolute beast on Pocket. And we got AMS and Crater, the Finnish monster duo on Scout. So who do we have on Goon Squad?
Meanwhile, we have Jorge on Medic. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. D-Toad on Demo Man. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. DQC, I can't mess that one up, over on, I believe, Roaming Soldier. Nakari is going to be playing that Pocket Soldier. Kroix will be playing that Scout. And I believe the Russian is pronounced Pole. But I'm going to call him Pole. And yes, okay. So we're going straight into it. It's ETF2L Season 33. Week 4, it's Goon Squad versus Ascent, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to our first mid. And the first thing I'm seeing on this mid is just both Deromans giving the death stare. This map is so huge on the mids that they can't really detonate each other with their initial stickies. It's all up to Zebasai to kind of open things up for his team, and not only does it open up, he gets a kill. He could have maybe weaseled out into cave there, get a health back, but he was kind of claimed by the rest of the retreating Goon Squad, but that did give up their ground and thus give up the mid.
That looked really simple. It was just a double soldier bomb in, and we got so much space. See the soldier you see holding forward, but man, you're just getting completely crunched on this bridge. And that's no, Nakari gets traded. He's gonna just taunt and kill himself. Oh, that's beautiful. You beautiful bastard, Nakari. That was great.
Oh my god.
Yeah, one thing I've really noticed on this map that's like super important when you push in is to just like kill the bridge. right? Because you can flank it from like both the choke and the cave at the same time, and if you don't get it, they can just shoot down on you really badly. So like you need to crunch that bridge really quickly, and Ascent did a really good job of doing that. Apart from the part where Cradle got owned, but AMS gonna run in a little bit too early as well. Medic did survive there, so Ascent. It's not too big a deal here. It's not like there's a push coming in that they need to do very quickly. So losing a scout here and there, that's not a big deal. You might see AMS go off on sniper or spy or something, but there it looks like he's just gonna chill out on scout. So now it's gonna be interesting to see how they decide to force out an Uber. You know, it used to be that there was this window where you could just like spot the medic, but they removed the window. Thank God. You know, it was pretty stupid. But how do we do it now then? That's the question.
Well, I mean, whatever the map, it is such a big map as well. You've got so many compartments, so many nooks and crannies. They're actually just going to go it the old-fashioned way. Run a scout onto point and start overing that demo man in. You get some time on point, and the debts have the stickies haven't been debted, but the spy and the all these other plays have just started going off. And I think that was actually a headshot. You do actually see an Uber coming out, ringing out
hiding. Sometimes hiding. Nobody spotted him. He's just going to go onto the point now.
He's just on top of the point. He needs to get a fat air shot. He gets a fat air shot onto the bridge, though, and the bridge can defended that for their team. So with that last point defended, they can push out, get this second point. They've already got ×3 on the cap just as I speak of them. And, yeah, well defended by Goon Squad here.
Yeah, it wasn't a suicide play at all. It was just a regular old push, and they actually did okay. They took down the demo man. That's a really nice pick, but they didn't force the Uber until like really late. It was like way after. And we can see now they're trying to move through this choke, and it's very difficult to actually make in there. It's so easy to spam in out, and then Narcari's guy is going to be the only person to make it through there. And that was a really good hold coming out from Ascent. They didn't let anyone come through that choke at all.
Yeah, they've got some stickies around the choke area. Polygon's the only way to want to weasel his way through. Connor could go down to these stickies, but he does get past them. But, man, Pole is just doing work on this flank until he has been taken out. But he's but just a scout, and he has to die sometimes. But he's bought some excellent room for his team, compromising that flank and making it a little bit of a headache for the rest of Ascent to just kind of run over them there. Croix is even trying to take a page out of Pole's book and just taking on the entire squad on his own. DQZ is kind of hanging about in the back line, drawing some eyes and trying to make something happen. Oh, very nice. But with that distraction play, Nakari will take the front perch and take out not only Connor, but Domo as well. Nakari might even pick up Credo at this point.
Yeah, Credo, so he's still behind, but I'm pretty sure they know about it. And like so far
AMS,
right now...
AMS.
He's going to come from the front. He didn't find the medic, though.
Oh, they might find Jorge. Jorge is surrounded by all sorts of players. He's dodging left, right, and center. He's still alive, so he picks up a health pack, and it's like it never happened.
I was really well held there. Ascent went for the triple play onto the medic there. So far, Ascent, they seem kind of disorganized. It just seems like they don't kind of link up just right, and it just seems like they just kind of lose out in these team fights, and that's pretty worrying, I'd say, because it's like Goon Squad, they shouldn't be the greatest team in TF12, right? Like I said, it should be they should just be outclassing them. That is very much not the case.
Uber's in nice and early from the right-hand side, and they're trying to just find any of these players, but with such a big last, it's kind of a task in of itself. They do find Polygon and Zeverside, both the soldiers taken out, but this buys enough time for O'Connor to get his Uber off, get everybody nice and buffed up over on Ascent, and they will use that to kind of defend this last point.
AMS getting the nice triple cleanup there. He's looking for the medic as well, but he's just only going to find the point as everyone else has come out there. So again, we've seen that it's very difficult to actually clean up the entire team. So I think maybe you need to play the point harder, or maybe you just need to
delay that Uber.
Even more space, yeah.
Yep, well, Polygon, he's jumping in first, drawing some eyes, but doesn't really want to commit all the way in. Provide some room for his team, and there's a bit of like bunching up over by Goon Squad, but they won't actually stick this one out. And I'm a little surprised Ascent didn't decide to take that fight there. Maybe they're just a bit scared of that Uber charge that Jorge's just received.
Yeah, I think they're just counting Ubers and just going, no, let's not throw ourselves into the enemy team. They've done that a bunch of times now, and it didn't work out. So I like the change of pace, just taking it easy, making sure that you don't overextend and take fights that you don't need to. So now they're going to have the chance to just slow it down here. I'm a little interested to see what the positioning's going to be. DQC actually is going to go down. There's a Zeverside. Zeverside picks him off. That was really good by him. So now there might be some room here to make their way in. See the Step-Aside Log Room, who's trying to sneak his way in, but actually it's going to be from the other side here, and they get 2 kills, but Ubers have not been forced yet.
Oh, they will pop a single Uber onto Dito, but Dito's going to have to do a lot of work with this, but he's cut off from his medic for just a second there, and it's like he's got no Uber at all. He's brought down so low that the medic doesn't really have time to punch all those heals into him to kind of bring him back into that post-fight, and God, it was just a communication error in my books, looking at it, Beta.
It was definitely just losing 2 players there that early in the fight, where it was very crucial, and then even the demo man and the scout kind of ran in 2 different directions, so it was very difficult for the medic to save them, so they didn't have enough health either, so Ascent just won that fight really handily.
Oh, Spy is uncloaked, and he will be actually cleaned up, so not as successful last time, and Paul is going to have to go back to the respawn queue, but it looks like a pretty quick respawn. Oh wait, I say that, they've suddenly just been bumped up by 13 seconds. A very nice cap by Ascent, quickly delaying that scout's final sort of respawn, and they clean up not only the sentry gun but a player as well. Jorge's gone down, so that safety net is completely taken away from Goon Squad, and it's finally going the way of Ascent in this first round.
Very interesting to see that they just didn't play the point at all. They just only went for kills, try to get everyone into spawn, and then I think the logic here is that there's this high ground behind the point, and if you don't get that in time, then they can just like push back out of spawn and then just shoot down on you. So I think they're just trying to take all that high ground behind the point, and to try and make sure that they just can't take that, and then hopefully that's going to be enough. And this time around it was enough, so you know, maybe that's the way to go. But they're still very curious to me. I always thought that playing the point was going to be very important.
Man, look at Kradu taking a firm hold of that balcony spot. Zebasai will jump in after the little first jump coming out from his soldier partner Polygon, and DQZ's having just as much of a whale in the time in the back line as well, but oh, it's actually solidifying just a bit better for Ascent as they managed to bunch up after the bombs have come out, and it's just a lot more strict and tidy.
Dito is still in though, he's completely caught in. That's very unfortunate for him. It's a nice pipe, but that's going to be it.
Yeah, it's a real shame as well, because it looked like the turnaround potential was there. There was some low players on Ascent and some nice attacks coming in, but I guess maybe just the attacks weren't stringing up at the right moment, or Ascent was just the first one off the mark.
It was a very good mid for Ascent, but yeah, you're very right. It was not as convincing as the first mid that they had. Like, there was definitely a time where they could have lost it. But they did a really good job of just playing together and making sure that they picked off players one by one. And then eventually they even had a single demo man in there. So it's going to be another Uber advantage. It's not a very big one, so they need to move quickly here. And it looks like they're going to go in from a different direction. They're just going to try everything, I guess. And they're going to find a Pyro and a sentry gun.
Yep, a very early pop coming out from Connor there. I guess they're terrified of any sniper play that could be happening, so they've not got a lot done with this Uber charge. They've just taken out the sentry gun, and Polygon now has to jump into the huge kind of pit of red players, and Jorge will pop off his Uber, but it's just as hard for the red team to kind of find their marks as well. Polygon will actually kind of wrap around, and some nice sort of kind of peekaboo play coming out from Ascent there, and that's really a stylish way to win that that final round there.
Yeah, he did so much work. They're just hiding behind the point. They're just sailing around, doing a ton of damage, taking a ton of attention. Then everyone else just came in from Ascent and just cleaned up really well. That was a push I feel like Ascent should not have gotten at all. Like, they didn't get like, Jorge got his Uber in time to actually use it. So, and that's usually when a push ends. But somehow just hiding soldier behind it, like we saw Step-Aside before, and now Polygon has done the same. So that's definitely an area where they need to improve.
Yeah, and look at the Ascent aggression once again. They're all caught up in that little corner area, but D2 is just playing a bit of duck hunt, it seems, when a lot of these players are flying into the air. He's managed to catch them. Domo gets a nice pipe, duck down for Paul as he's going to have to just kiss the respawn queue, and you see Ascent kind of clapping back a bit here, and oh, we got a good old-fashioned scout versus demo man versus medic. 3v3?
Yeah, it's alt trio, I guess, some sort.
Oh no! Cox has been shot down, and both Ubers have been exchanged as well. This is a disaster zone for Goon Squad. AMS, he's manly, but he's not that manly. He's not going to take on the entire team with the respawners coming in from behind. So they will just set up for the mid, and they have got a slight disadvantage, but there's no way Goon Squad will play off this.
No, it's a pretty long map, and it's very easy to kite and use on this map. So Yeah, I don't think we're going to see people play on these, but they're actually going to
Ooh.
send in a super aggressive soldier, just go onto the demo man. That's pretty unusual. Actually, I think he goes down to spam at the very end there, coming out from Sepusai. And they will take down
Oh.
DQC, who's trying to go for a counterplay. So nice job there. They're still going to move in here, so no fear here for Goon Squad. But this is the kind of situation that they've just been struggling with so far. But it looks like Ascent, they are thinking about going out, but Horde going down to Sepusai. That's going to change everything. And now it's just a matter of time before Ascent pushes back in here. Yeah.
Oh my god, Zebasai, he's like the disease. He's just kind of killed them from the inside, and I was too busy looking at the meat of it and the midpoint, and Zebasai was the one just peeling back all the layers from behind. He was really putting in the work for his team there, taking out not just one, not just two, but 3 players.
Really great job by him. And now they're actually just going to go in here with this full Uber advantage. We see Sepusai, he's on Spy. I think he's just in spawn. Yeah, okay. So they're just going to go in here, put a scout on the point that's going to force this heavy down there.
You say he's going to force the heavy down there. He's too fat. He's too slow. He can't shoot and move at the same time, and it has cost them the round here for Goon Squad. Man, this is going to be a quick game, it feels like, Peter.
Yeah, Ascent, they were kind of struggling early on, just kind of getting outplayed in a bunch of situations where they were too aggressive and just kind of filing in a few at a time, having some bad coordination. But these middles and just general fights, they've had really good success just playing around their medic really heavily. Even when they're down one on mid, they still end up winning it.
Okay, Zebasai jumping in the same spot, Polygon jumping in the same spot, but they go in a different order. Polygon wasn't as successful as his Swedish compadre, as they will actually be controlled and countered, and this allows a lot more breathing room for Goon Squad, and they're kind of tearing Ascent apart a little bit. DQZ has been banking on this huge flank though, and he's going all the way around. He has brought 2 scouts behind to deal with him, but I mean, would that cost them now? They can come back in for this fight. Ascent, Domo going for that Kado jump, that sort of old Kado that we all know and love, but backs off a bit, doesn't want to push the line too much, and both of these teams are just playing a good old-fashioned staring contest, but the respawners are on the side of Goon Squad, and I think if they keep taking trades, keep taking things slowly, eventually it should pay off for them, but it still comes down to that first kill, and Zebasai will be the first one to show that sign of weakness. Big bombing from Polygon. He will get that cleanup kill, pushing out of the rest of Goon Squad, but it does make you wonder how the hell are Goon Squad losing this? They've got the respawners, they can still fight into this, they have the Uber for Christ's sake, and they have capped off the point, and the car is
it was
down
just
as well.
Sepusai basically going behind. It drew so many players in.
Domo's gone down. Oh, but they've also lost D2 as well. It's just a game of just trading cards at this point. Both the Scout has gone down as well. Will Pole turn this around? He will here, so it's another trade here for
He's so
Goon
weak.
Squad.
He's 2 HP.
Zebasai, Pole is going to take this. He's on minimal HP. 1 HP warrior will get out with his life, and Polygon is happy that he's just got the point, but will he have the point for so long? DQZ going back in, trying to play some ulti on this Spire area, more like MGE. Polygon's going to get a quick little shot to kind of get himself back into the fight. Pole is going from behind. He's revealed himself early. He's turned some eyes though. Kreutz is going to go down, and Uber's coming out from both of these teams as they're just kind of grinding against each other at the choke area. Ascent kind of rupturing this cave flank as well. Nakari's got way too much on his plate right now. He's gonna go down. He's trying to weasel his way back in. He will crate it to his death. Finally, this second point will go to Ascent.
Ascent is so good at just overloading this flank and just like crunching the bridge, basically. What they're doing really well. Polygon's in already, trying to take down this demo man, not quite gonna get him. Never mind, he gets him and the medic to boot. AMS is on the point again, and these pushes have been super clean as of late. They kind of struggled to figure it out early on, but at this point it seems like they have it completely figured out. And again, like I said, these Uber fights, they're doing so well in them. Like, it always seems like AMS is getting a kill before an Uber gets popped in every single exchange, and then they're just able to win it out from there. And I really love sending 3 players through flank there, because that just means when they go through choke, they can just come in from 2 sides and they can take that bridge very easily.
Oh, look at Domo, he's really feeling himself now. He's already walking across the point before anybody else turns up to mid. He really is feeling confident about his Demo Man play. Ascent and Kredu and Zebasai in that little backline area. Nakari will clean up 1 kill, and with both of those players isolated, there's no one kind of protecting the meat of the Ascent lineup, and it looks like Connor's going to go down. He's trying his best to dodge, but all he does is delaying the inevitable. Ascent Domo, he's got one thing left on his mind, and it's probably to set up a trap or go for the jump. He's going for the jump, and he does get some very nice, like, stickies initially going in, but he will go down. And Jorge, he's perfectly full health on this midpoint. I don't think he's going to go down, and that's the only pick they're looking after from Ascent.
Kratos still behind line, so I feel like Ascent, they actually lost this miss because they ended up with players behind and not with their medic, so they couldn't blob around him. So Kratos, he just gave himself away, but this sort of doesn't realize what? Okay. He was literally standing on the point.
When a player's behind like that, you could just look at it as like, that player's dead. That player's not contributing anything. He might as well be in the respawn queue right now. So we're going to push 6v5 into this last point, although it might be 6v6 with this sentry gun buddy helping out the team. But AMS is caught away from his avenue of escape. He has to back off, and there's an Uber chasing him. Zebasai's got to pick up a lot of the pieces, but he's doing a lot of damage to all these pieces. And the Ascent Kradu will come back to the fight and clean up that final kill. I guess he wasn't dead after all.
No, he was not. He was actually doing a lot of work there. And Jorge does survive, so that's good, but that's the only good thing about that. It's still 4-0 with about 12 minutes remaining here. So Ascent, they're still looking strong. That was a really nice last hold. They did a really good job once again of just kind of kiting the Uber around and spreading out.
I smell a spy. Spy going for the backstab, but he goes for Domo instead of going for that ambitious medic kill. And I can't really blame him at this point where it's really hard to get the pick onto the medic, because that's the only losing sort of round scenario that Ascent have on the cards right now until Connor uses that Uber.
Yeah, just right now, AMS, he's just spearheading this push, it seems like. I think DQC is still hiding behind lines here. I think he's waiting for a scout to come on here, and then he's going to kind of just waddle his way in, trying to block it while this Uber push is coming into last.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on DQZ. I'm going to try and...
Oh,
God, he actually gets the block onto the second point. Very nice from DQC. Saving the round for his team there. And that Uber's been nullified and negated of all of its work. And yeah, they just have to go back and just cap it off slowly. DQZ is still even being a little bit annoying on that second point as well. Kind of a little bonus there. But they're still making the push. Holy Jesus, Polygon just going in anyway. Doesn't need a team. He's just playing one-man Team Fortress 2. And he will just manage to just get out as well. Insulting here from Polygon, and God, this scout just kind of enters the meat grind. It does trade with Polygon. That's a bit exciting and ambitious. Jorge will go down. The Kari's left on his own on this point, and I'm a little surprised that he managed to survive this long here on Goon Squad, but there you go. The final nail in the coffin has been laid. It's 5-0 to Ascent.
Yeah, they didn't look too strong coming in early on, but at the very end there, they just showed their dominance and played really well. And like AMS in particular, just every single exchange, he was just getting a kill. Before, like the Uber came in, and then he was always getting a bunch of cleanup. So it's a really strong map from him, and I'm looking forward to see these logs. I'm pulling them up right now, and holy Jesus, he did really well. But yeah, we can talk more about that, but. Yeah, that's nuts. Well, top damage and everything.
Yeah, I'm loading them in now, and yeah, if I just sort by damage, dear lord, you don't get many of these instances where Scout is getting top damage and the top kills. If he got the lowest deaths as well, he'd probably be winning both MVP awards from both teams, because he's just, I know, that valuable. But I mean, can you look into the stats of a 5-0 that much? I mean, if you had to take a guess who's the first one through the door on all these things, AMS probably is going to fit that bill, and if he ain't dying, it's probably the first prognosis to a 5-0.
Yeah, indeed. Like, you can definitely read into it a bit. Like, you can see what was the issue, right? So AMS was getting a bunch of kills. Domo never died. Connor never died, right? Like, those are three really important things, and it wasn't like a super quick 5-0 roll. It was like 18 minutes. So you can definitely glean some important stuff in here, and also you can see that it was definitely just the scouts cleaning up while the soldiers were doing damage and having like negative KDs. So yeah, all right, that is what it is. It's not too exciting to look at, but it does show you about what the game style is.
I think from my understanding as well, we might be having a server change or something's going off. So,
Yeah.
oh boy, that's always fun in these ETF2L games. But while we're doing that, we've got plenty of time to maybe talk a bit more about these two teams. Maybe talk about going into process now as Logjam. It's done. It's a thing of the past, and now we have to just kind of move on. And do you think a map like process would lean themselves a bit more to Goon Squad, something more familiar to these players, or were they kind of hoping for that wildcard factor of Logjam?
Like normally the logic is that if you're playing against a superior team to you, you want to play on a new map that they are unfamiliar with because they'll make stupid mistakes and maybe just by chance you're doing something really right and they're not, just because you're getting lucky and just playing it differently, right? Whereas when everything's figured out, like on process, the best team should just win 99% of the time, right? Like barring anything completely crazy going on. However, I will say this. It actually looks like the scrim results. Ascent played against 7, and they got crushed on process, and then they tied on Logjam. So maybe Ascent are really good on Logjam, or maybe
Wait,
7.
Who are they playing? 7.
7, yeah.
Well, that just leans to your theory there, Beta. Apparently the worst team will want to play the newer map and kind of upset people there. Oh, checkmate, king me. I've won the game of analysis. Thank you. But, so, it's not good. It's not good for Goon Squad. They've lost the wildcard map, and what you're telling me here is that process is likely going to fall even worse. Like, if they could get Coach Beta in there talking to all these players from around the world, Beta, what would you tell them? What advice would you part with them to say, okay, guys, if you just do this, maybe you have your shot of winning?
I think the first step is the mid fights because they seem very winnable, right? Like Ascent, they lost the first 2 mids on Logjam, and then after that they won them, but it was always pretty close, and it was usually a matter of like blobbing up. And I think if they could just ride out the initial aggression that Ascent comes in, and then just rebound really aggressively and just try to focus down some players and just ignore the medic, just focus down players, they can actually win some really decisive mids, and then they can just roll it all the way into last. And then if you can get a couple of rounds like that, you can slow down the game. And so far we haven't seen a whole lot of suicide plays out of Ascent. Like they just did some straight up pushes, just Uber against Uber, right? Like that's kind of what we saw, and it didn't work out equally well every time. But it's pretty notable that they didn't go for any big suicide plays. So perhaps they just don't have them like really practiced in there. Maybe Severside doesn't like to go for suicides all the time. Who knows what the case is? Maybe we just didn't see it. But like I think I would just focus on those things that they did well and what they had success in, and that was mid fights and just holding last pushes, and they have shown the ability to slow things down because Ascent, they did overextend a bunch of times where they were sending like 3 players for the enemy medic or something like that, and it wasn't the best coordinated thing ever. So blob around your medic, make sure you don't get anyone picked off, and just blob up against Ascent, slow down the game if you ever get ahead, and win some mid fights. That would be what I would go for.
All right, okay, I get you. Now, we've spent a lot of time kind of talking about the maps, maybe the tactics of it, but maybe this is a good time to kind of showcase some of these player names. The reason I don't know them, Beta, is because nobody's really talking about them, or at least not in my little world. So maybe we just need to show some grace here to this Goon Squad. Was there anybody that's been jumping out with you, not just this game, but throughout the entire season, is like, wow, this player, pretty good at the game?
I haven't watched a whole lot of Goon Squad play at all. So
what about this one map then? What was this like? Oh yeah, that player's done well.
I have watched them play, but it hasn't been too much. But I'd say that I think Croix has the ability to go huge every once in a while. Like he's not the most consistent scout ever, but he's got a really high ceiling. So he's been kind of impressive. And then Kari does some cool shit every once in a while, basically. Like we saw the equalizer into just screw it, I'll just taunt and kill myself because that was worth it. Right, he does stuff like that, and like he will get cool medic picks and that kind of stuff. So like, he's very fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah. He is probably the celebrity of the team. I know that all sorts of fun little jokes and memes of people kind of posting about the internet saying Nakari him Prem, what a world we live in. But I like this poll guy. At least this first impressions, it felt like he had some really good moments in the previous game before. But it's a real shame it was a 5-0 though. I just feel like I want to give Goon Squad at least like one round, just kind of tell them, hey, you got some things right in that last game.
Yeah, they definitely had a bunch of really good signs showing there in that match, and I think you just need to focus on that if you are Goon Squad. But we're going into this. Do you think we'll actually see a round fall here?
I have no clue. But I'm still loading into the game. Sadly, I've crashed. So take away any sort of mid play-by-play. I grant you this ability, Beta.
Ooh, thank you so much. Great Turbo Chan son. All right. We got actually a super fast mid Connor and the rest of the team. They are in so much earlier, and right now there's a ton of damage. The double soda bomb's going to come in now. Sebasai and Polygon both linking up right now. Paul goes down. Sebasai gets a ton of space as well. Like, all of this fight is just going on the side of Goon Squad. There's a single sword in Akari. He's behind. He's managed to pick up a medkit and go behind, but he's being chased by 2 scouts, both being tanked by medic. He's going to go down. And that was just D2 was super slow to mid. And then it seemed like once he even got there, he took a bunch of damage, and that means that everyone was falling back really passively, and then they just lost that fight. Essentially just all up in their grill. And now they're even pushing in very aggressively. The Sebasai is going to jump in onto the leg. He gets the force out. There's even someone else. Sebasai doesn't die. He actually just gets Ubered. Okay, so that's a really good Uber force. Ascent is going to chase this medic down. Actually, Sebasai gets taken down by Nakari, and he will just chase people off. So that was a really bad situation being saved there by a bit of a clutch play coming up from the soldier. But now AMS is going to go in very aggressively, gets taken down as well. Man, Ascent, they are just so aggressive. They will just not let up. Wow. Eventually they're going to have to, though.
It's very strange. It's almost like Ascent don't have any respect for Goon Squad. Just walking into doorways willy-nilly and just thinking, yeah, I'm pretty sure I could two-shot anything that just comes around this corner. But I see a bit of bite back from Goon Squad. They're not giving away these points for free, you know. They are made it into Prem for some reason. And yeah, you can see even the soldiers from Ascent. Sure, it was a nice bomb and they got a lot of damage, but there was just like some very diable players there. Someone could have got picked off if they just had enough follow-up, but Ascent, maybe they're right to play this way, although I say that AMS gets taken out by some sticky carpet bombs.
From Jorge, though, survives on 95% Uber. He would have died there if he didn't get that surf off, but he survives. So once again, Ascent, they're being really aggressive right now, and it's not always working out for them. I feel like it's actually just better when they do these big, well-coordinated team pushes. But we actually see Goon Squad pushing out very aggressive here. It's even Ubers, and they're pushing out of last. That's pretty brave.
Again, it just feels like there's no respect coming out from Ascent, going for these very brave but man, how can I criticize when they've just kind of pushed them back off the point? They've nullified that little push there, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So AMS, speaking of broken, he's going on Spy. Let's see what he can perform here now. His track record is not good, Peter, at least not in the times I've been watching AMS. Some of the most funny clips come out of AMS trying to play Spy. And there you go. There you go. I saw it. I am the Oracle. I saw it in my crystal ball, my magic 8 ball. It said to me that AMS was going to die there, 100%. It's a very strange 8 ball, but you can't...
We're all going to die, TurboTabs. That's not a good prediction.
Well,
Paul's going to see if he can do better, though. I think he got hit by some splash, maybe, so he's just going to waddle back to last and go, oh well, not even going to try.
Yeah. Well, Ascent haven't lost too much, though. With that sort of low-risk play of throwing AMS in there, and speaking of throwing AMS will go down, and let's see what class he will kind of random today, as Zebasai will just take out a teleporter. That's the mark of a good push any second now from Ascent, but they'll probably wait for their boy AMS first.
Yeah, let's see if he decides to do anything cool. Looks like he's just going to be on scout. The last time we were in this kind of situation, Ascent, they just went for like an Uber exchange. Just a straight up push into last. So let's see if they can actually do something else. This is what I was talking about, where Ascent, they didn't seem to actually have like suicide plays, and yeah, AMS is going to jump in there. That looked like that was the beginning of a push as well. might have just been something else. But Polygon's going to go down as well.
Oh my, oh god. The dominoes are really falling here on Ascent. Connor probably just blinked and like, where did my team go? Where did they all go? Please, Domo, tell me. And they all just kind of barrel in from every corner. They just think, I don't know what team they think they're playing here, but they're not going to just give in.
What's this Uber?
Oh, the Uber's going in. I mean, it's not that spectacular of an Uber, it's just AMS on his own. He's just a lonely little scout, and then they just pop the Uber in front of him. AMS does a nice little ring around the roses, though, to kind of turn their attention away, and look at all these players trying to chase him. So it's looking very nice, actually, in the post-Uber fight of it, but that surely couldn't have been the plan from Ascent. But this feels like the trend so far. You know, Ascent do something stupid, and then they pick it up with some very good play. It's just truly baffling here on this program.
Yeah, that was really clutch by AMS, just jumping in there, just being behind lines the entire time. That just won his team the entire fight. So really good job by him, but yeah, that seemed like a really questionable Uber coming in here.
Oh my god.
Now they're gonna jump into this heavy. That's
oh my, Nakari denying Polygon his escape there, and he's feeling himself a bit. He wants to kind of continue the push going, and AMS has already caused so much grief for this team. He's actually doing an excellent job of just kind of throwing some meat onto this Spire, not taking a lick of damage, and he will finally get popped with the Uber now. Oh, poor Pole gets dropped during Goon Squad Uber, and everyone's feeling a multi here over on the Goon Squad, and they're just being punished for it. There's no Uber left, everyone's taking and soaking up the same damage, and they have to go back to last when second's just been capped now.
Gonna even push into last here. They might just not wait for anything. Yeah, AMS is just chewing through so many things. Kratos gonna put time on the point. Almost gets it actually.
So close. Oh, what a nice pipe coming out from Domo. He just needs to touch it. You know, cough on it, lick it, anything. They just need to stand there. Oh, suicide bomber coming out from Zeberside. They're desperately trying to knock them off the point here. Pipes are connecting. D2's on his own, and AMS, of course, it would end with AMS.
Yeah, AMS has just been an absolute monster. Like, every single Uber exchange, he gets a kill. Here he comes in, cleans up. There was a lot of time on that point, so like everyone just had to stand on it. Domo did a pretty good job as well, and then AMS just comes in, and he is the hero for his team right now. He gets the cap out. That was a 7-minute round. They didn't look pretty, I'd say, but definitely a lot of action going on here with Ascent.
Medic, Domo needs medical attention. He will get healed up from this mid-fight, and the games can now officially begin. Polygon and Zeberside make their sort of aggressive shots around the map, and we'll kind of actually get behind them as well. DQZ is going to be the 7th player of Ascent and takes himself out, and Pole, well, let's see what Pole can come up with. Oh, can't come up with much.
Gets taunted. Alright. Yeah, okay, at least Nakari manages to get out of here, so yeah, that's something, I guess. He's not going to have to die. That's not really
the valuable Nakari. Can't lose him.
I mean, that's still what you say, right? Like, if you just have Nakari survive mid, it's fine. Maybe it's Medic. I might be confusing those two, but whatever. Ascent, they do have the Medic alive. He's on 100%. There's a sniper, so I see a dot, and they need to watch out for that. Connor has been known to die to snipers.
Nope, he's popped very early. He's been a very good boy, Connor, this evening, and really going these early Ubers in. Sentry gun taken out, point pressured, and here comes the counterplay from Goon Squad, who gets starts finding the frags. It looks like Goon Squad are actually linking up a bit better if they can actually connect onto this point now.
AMS taunting again, and it actually works out. He was just doing the classic taunt on point, and you see like the pipe slowly just ascending on him as he's just slapping his butt, but he just capped it right before it hits him. So that's going to be a second round for Ascent. They've been really just powering through them here, just no respect at all.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like 100% successful, but it's been successful enough.
Yeah, Domo playing it big for his team there, drawing a lot of fire, winning that round, and comes to the mid nice and early as well. Just wants to say hello to all the players that are involved in there. Nakari's going to start surfing around, but it does make me wonder if he's going to start shooting some rockets into the enemy team. There we go. And just too low health on the side of Goon Squad to really follow up on any of these kills, and with Ascent scouts not feeling the pressure, they just start running around the map. It's like DM server right now for these scouts.
Yeah, they're just chewing everything up. Like, if you're close to their medic, they will get
Uh-oh.
you. Oh, Ascent. They run
Uh-oh,
a scout into...
D-Toad.
Oh, no.
D-Toad! Oh, he's caught in no man's land, and he is now in no man's place. He is dead, down to his team, and with a demo man down for Goon Squad, with the second Spire capped, this is a very critical time for Goon Squad. It's very scary to defend last without your demo man.
Indeed. So, like, they'll be able to run in all the way here. Yeah, they haven't popped it. Now they finally did. They're going to just make sure they clean out the bunker up top here. Take down the sentry gun as well. They're not being super aggressive. And they haven't been putting any time on this point either. That's usually a very crucial point here in process. But they might just be getting enough kills. And yeah, there we go. The single scout on the point. That's going to be a cap 3-0 in favor of Ascent.
Yeah, they're getting a bit stylish here over on Ascent. They probably could have finished that round a bit quicker, but they decided to play their food a little bit. But the food didn't want to actually come out of the oven. They just stayed in there and were waiting. It's like, please, please let us out. And no, Ascent would not. And it's another round now. Now they can actually come out of the oven, and hopefully they can come up with something to mid a little less half-baked.
Yeah, we'll see. Like Ascent, they like the double sorted bomb in. You can see Sebasai, he's just kind of hiding in PC right now, just waiting for it. But yeah, both teams just being super passive so far.
Yeah, this is a bit strange coming out from both of these teams. Usually somebody's the first one to jump off. There we go, Polygon. He's going to break up the flow of the game, and wow, he actually gets a nice crater onto the scout. And what a turning around kill for him. Kind of opens up, gives some confidence for the rest of the Ascent squad, but if they looked at the scoreboards, both of these teams realised, like, wait a minute, it's even a piece right now. Both of these teams could take this fight if they really wanted to, and they start to try and come out in forces over on Goon Squad, but they get a bit divided just because they've all backed out of the map and they've all backed out of different doors.
Ascent, once again, just once they turn off that aggression, it's just super difficult for Goon Squad to actually get in there. And there's going to be another Uber exchange, and Nakari has gone down. AMS is trying his best here to just do a bunch of work, but he actually gets taken down. Nice shot there from Point. And the single sword behind Sebasai, he's going to get taken down as well. I think they just need to cap this out and retreat.
I think they've checked the scoreboard again over on a Goon Squad. They're coming out, and they will get a really early kill onto Polygon with Kradu and caught in. Oh wait, actually he's not caught. He's the one that's been catching. He's got Croix, and it will be a trade, but it's gone pretty well for Ascent, all things considered.
Yeah, they should have just lost everything there, but ended up losing like a single guy and trading.
Hello, he's going in. He's on top of Jorge. Nice little connect of the direct rocket there. DQZ will kind of pick up that Zebasai pick, but mission accomplished for that Swede, as with the medic down, the heals on the side of Ascent, they can start playing this slowly. They just need to blob up here.
Yeah, Domo went down as well, however, he was just standing in choke and got jumped by a soldier, so a little bit more precarious than you might think. But that was a really nice bomb in there from Sebasai. He got the work done. And now Ascent, I think they're just waiting to blob up here, making sure that there's no hiders, no sticky traps, and then they're just going to slowly make their way in here. They don't have a soldier to really jump in them very aggressively. Okay, Polygon has finally made his way in here. Looks like they're going to try to fight DQC 3-on-1. That's just unfair, and they don't get punished for it. Usually when you extend 3 against 1, you run the risk of being overwhelmed somewhere else, right? But that didn't happen there at all, so yeah. They're getting away with their stuff right now, Ascent.
Yeah, I think it's just because they're scared of the supercharge that Connor has. Again, popping very early. I'm liking it, Connor. Very, very good medic play, or safe medic play, I guess. And that's all you need to be in this Ascent game. Play it safe, don't run the risk. Domo's just going to kind of take that mantra and throw it in the bin, straight into the face of Goon Squad. They do have Jorge with this Ubercharge kind of being the last man standing with Paul on this last point now.
1 versus 2 scouts.
Oh my god, this is a horrible, horrible game of ulti trio, but there we go. It's 4-0.
Yeah, really good repush right there. And Jorge, he barely managed to get his Uber, but it was just really good play from Ascent before that. They went in, they got a single scout on the point that forced everyone to just jump onto it. And then like once they did that, they just started dying like flies, and then sure, Jorge managed to get his Uber and save 1 person, but it was a single scout, and 2 scouts beat 1 most days of the week, and especially when you have AMS and Kradu just going ham this game.
Oh, Zebasai again, incredibly aggressive. The rest of Goon Squad haven't even turned up to mid, and maybe this was the play because they do have Nakari on that sniper. Maybe a little bit reading the play from Goon Squad, and Ascent isolate them, control them, and push them out of this mid. If you can't kill him, just push him.
Yeah, Paul actually manages to go in here as well and get one, so it's still a man advantage right now for a Goon Squad. Like Sebasai, he went in, he was super aggressive, he pulled a lot of players back, but he didn't actually get any kills, so it was basically positioning against man advantage right there, and positioning one out eventually. Ascent, they're finally going to send in a single sorter right now. So
Oh.
Sebasai going for it again, but he's going to find Paul. Actually gets Paul.
Oh no, he might actually get in the car as well. Thank God he's got the SMG. If he had any other unlock there, he would have felt the sting of that equalizer. And the car is trying his best to pop off shots, but the shots are not popping into people's heads. He will go down, and the second point hasn't been capped yet, and AMS is already on the prowl. He's looking for more kills. DQZ will just fire a rocket out the ground. The soldier special against any scout and will be incapacitated to it. It still works at this high level, Beta.
Yeah, worth noting that the Domo airshot the enemy medic as well.
Oh,
he hit him
blimey.
with a pipe, and then the enemy medic popped, and then he got air piped. So a good thing he popped there. So Jorge, he could have been absolutely styled on as it was. It was just an Uber exchange. And again, AMS just going super aggressive. We're gonna see a sort of 1v1, and DQZ actually wins it. That's gonna end up being a trade in the end. You know, that's how most soldier fights go. You just trade them out. But
Well, yep, a 1v1 and then suddenly it turns into a 2v1. Not very fun. But we've got both of these teams kind of building their way to an Uber. They will be a bit quicker over on Goon Squad, but they've got that last disadvantage where anybody could come in and backcap at any moment. So they're probably just going to stick back, wait on this last point with their Uber charge, and just kind of see, come on, Ascent, you want to finish this game. You want to get the 5-0, don't you? Don't you?
Yeah, they're currently trying to put some pressure on. We can see them. They're kind of clearing a lot of doors, just making sure that there are no stickies, trying to get some ground. They've got a single soldier in. Like Ascent, they're actually being pretty passive right now, but they're going into one and actually getting DQC. But they do get forced for it. But they get the Demo Man again. AMS every single time just gets these kills. Jorge, however, he's holding on to his Uber. Sebasai might go down here. He's very weak in bunker. So Ascent, I feel like when they have this Uber, this man advantage, they need to actually get into and force the Uber.
Man, Zebasai is just kind of chilling in that balcony area. They're not even acknowledging it on the side of Goon Squad. Zebasai has already set up perch, waited for a crossbow, and things are starting to kind of roll ever so slowly now, but I mean, there's no reason for Goon Squad to kind of leave the little bunker. It's working out for them. DQZ is feeling a bit of sting from all these players at all different angles, and when the dust settles, there's only a lowly little pyro and a medic and one scout to deal with all this, but he's actually getting some good damage onto people. Polygon's on the point now. He's pushing him off. That's one way to defend the point, but a bit close for my liking.
Yeah, it's the timing everything well with the pyro reflex and everything. Yeah, eventually they are going to be able to hold the last and push out here onto second, but it's being contested very aggressively. It's actually going to come in Uber here as well.
Oh, I thought the car got out there. That would have been quite disgusting, but he will go down, and a lot of this Uber's been wasted. There's nobody to really follow up apart from AMS. He is the follow-up, he is the initial crushing and the end for Goon Squad, as he will go down, dying for his team, and it's just Connor and...
Oh, the Uber saldo!
Okay.
Oh, he gets blasted off.
That's that's not fun. That's not kosher. Oh. Man, that felt like a triumphant moment. That summed up the game quite nicely. It was like, oh yeah, that was pretty nice. Oh.
Yeah, it was really great until it wasn't. That is indeed a really good way to sum it up. The logs tell the same story again. AMS not top damaging this time around. Domo will get that honor, but man, the kills and deaths on him and Kratos are just insane. Like, it definitely just doing absolute work.
It's a real shame as well, because again, that just sums up the game so well. There was moments of genuine shine from Goon Squad where I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty nice, that was pretty cool. I'm liking some of these plays. I think probably the standout for me, if I have to kind of stroke somebody on the side, actually, get your mind out of the gutter, not in that way, boys and girls, but you know what I mean, just kind of give a little shout out to somebody on Goon Squad. It'd probably be Jorge, because he had some very nice escapes, and his death counters, to say he's a 5-0 is pretty low. He's almost around that mark of deaths alongside Connor with just one death and trailing behind him with 4.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it wasn't all bad, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, it just seems like Ascent. They were just a bit too much. It was too much muscle. It didn't seem very smart a lot of the time what they did. Like I feel like against a better organized team with better DM, like they could get in a lot of trouble if they played the same way that they did this match. But time will only tell if I'm right on that one or if it's just a Goon Squad, well, being better than I think.
Yeah, that was quite the quickie there, Peter. That was sharp, tactful. That was, I think, barely it all fits into like 30 minutes if you package it into one box. So I mean, I guess we could say thank you for Ascent that way. If it was going to be a crush, it was going to be a quick crush here in this week 4 game of ETF2L. So with that now, we probably need to head on over to our final segment of all of our ETF2L casts if we can pull it off. It's going to be the interview stage. We're just going to pluck up some random plucky people from both of these teams and see if they've got some words or some nice things to say about the match. And I hear our first gamer already stepping into the interview room, and of course it's internet celebrity himself, it's Nakari.
Hello.
Hello, Mr. Prem Player. How's it going?
Doing great.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, Nakari, I'm not going to mince words here. It was a bit of a steamroll for both of these maps. So, what do you think went wrong in your opinion? Like, give me that Prem analysis.
Well, the first rounds on each map were close, or like closer than the rest of the rounds. It's just like gone down to us like struggling with the basics. Let's like Ascend just like win one round and then gain momentum because they're able to like pull complex like pushes, fakes, like coordinated like flanks, rotations. I don't know. So we're kind of like still very much inexperienced, I guess.
Okay. Now we do also welcome in the headmaster of the other team. There we've got AMS.
Yo, how's it going, bros?
And we've also got Starkey here as well. I guess. Hi, Starkey. How's it going?
Hi, Stark.
Well,
I've been muted.
Anyway, yeah. Welcome, Starkey. You're just in time for the interviews of Ascent versus Goon Squad. Kind of a peculiar place to find you here, seeing as you're on the roster of 7. But I'll roll with the punches. How did you feel about the match, Starkey?
I didn't actually watch it, but I know the maps that were played, so it looked good. Nice work, Ams.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
All right, I think that's all the high-level analysis we need from Starkey. Throw him out, boys.
I'm not sure have we got the power. It makes me wonder if he can just come in and run the show.
He's gone.
Okay, he's gone. All right. The bouncers have got in here. Who knew Gemm had such massive muscles to throw out a boy like Starkey? Now, AMS, welcome to the channel. Welcome. It is actually your game, believe it or not. It's not a 7 versus some other team. It's Ascent versus Goon Squad. And tell me about Ascent versus Goon Squad. Were you guys expecting results like this tonight, or was it a bit easier? Was it a bit harder? What were your feelings on the match?
No expectations. You can't have expectations because then, if it doesn't go according to plan, you get tilted. So you go into the game, just trying your best and hoping you win, And that's what we did.
Don't lie to be polite, bro.
Connor, tell me what really happened. What were really the expectations for this Ascent team going into Goon Squad?
Credu hit us with the, if we don't get 5-0-5-0, I'm leaving. So we like Credu, so we want to keep him around.
Understandable.
Well, I'm guessing you guys were probably a little sweaty on the first round of Logjam then, because it looked like they were punching up for a second there. And were you worried at all at these initial rounds? Nakari said like it was pretty close at first. I've got to agree with him. Would you agree?
We were like playing pretty. I don't want to say we were playing bad because that's just undermining their effort. I'm sure they were playing well and they had some nice fights. So that was definitely a factor. But I was making some pretty low IQ comms or calls, if I'm honest. They were not great. Yeah, it took me a while to like kind of get into it. And it just took us a while to get going, but when we did, it was really good.
And Kari, a lot of casters and analysis people like me and Beta have to come up with like who's the most valued player in all these matches. But you know what? We're going to take a different page out of the book this evening. We're going to ask you, Nakari, Prem Mastermind. I want you to just point out, who do you think was just like the most valued player in this match tonight?
Has to be Ams. Because I
Thank you
didn't
so
notice
much.
anyone else, like, honestly. I, like, pickaxed Credo.
How about you, Ams? Do you think you were the most valued player, or are you too humble to give yourself an award like that?
I think our soldiers are crazy. Polygon and Sebo are so good together. Like, they've just been getting better and better. They both have like ridiculous DM. They have like really good coordination. They are like really smart about their pumps, and they like follow the calls to perfection. Like, is basically my favorite soldier duo I've ever played with. Honestly, at this point, I love playing with them. So
Wow.
they're the MVP for me, for sure.
What a seal of approval. Now, boys, I believe I might be out of touch here, but I think that's Logjam done and dusted now for ETF2L. Am I right? Yes?
No.
No? No
It's
way
in the next week.
Dear Lord.
It's the
dear
2
Lord.
weeks, isn't it?
Out
Yeah.
of touch. I keep forgetting that it's ETF2L. It's got those weird schemes where some maps are just around for a week or so. I thought that was Logjam. My bad. Okay, let's retrack. This is your first impressions of Logjam. This is kind of the new wildcard map, I guess, for this ETF2L season, especially because it made some changes just before it went into. What do you guys think of it in an official setting? I'm gonna start with you, AMS and Connor. What do you think of Logjam?
You go, Connor. I didn't hear the question.
Logjam? Do you like it? What do you think?
It's
Me
alright.
personally.
It's fun.
Me personally, I think it's a nice map. It's not too bad. It's okay for medic, I guess. I know there's some weird parts. Like, I don't think we ever go through cave, but it's there. It's there.
It's there.
But it's okay. It's not one of the best maps, but I personally prefer it to Badlands.
It's still better than Process.
Wow. Nakari. What do you
I can sponge better, so I guess it makes my looks look better by 0.1%.
All right. Okay. Well, that's all that matters, I guess, in a map like Logjam. So, do you guys predict that any sort of initial improvements you're going to make going into another week of Logjam? Then, have you already noticed some things that you're going to do differently, or you just like, nah, it's fine. That's Logjam. We'll just turn up and play.
I mean, I would be happy like getting one round, so it's like a 1-6-1-6, just the courtesy rounds, or like trying to pull out the finest strat. So like we get one round, or like it's a 0-0, and we just stay AFK on our last, like fully set up. So we get that sweet golden cap loss on both maps. So
Apparently, it's Metalworks and Process next week, and no Logjam.
Ooh.
Wait a sec.
Oh wait, so I was right. I was actually right.
You're a genius.
I'm
Yeah.
a genius. Bow down, plebs of TF2. Okay, so I'm kind of running out of the pleb questions. Beta, have you got any smart questions for us? You got any analysis questions in the back boot there?
Nah, you kind of got around to it very quickly. I don't know, like Ascent. It seemed to me like you guys were playing extremely aggressive a lot of the time. Like you were just taking fights very aggressively. Is that just something you do in general, or was it just because you felt you had better DM than Goon Squad?
That's just how we want to play. That's just our style. I think every Prem team knows it by now. We want to like push the pace, and we want to make teams play at our pace. I believe that nobody's ever going to beat 7 trying to play the way they're playing, and I don't think it's the best way to play the game either. And I think we're all in like agreement about this in the team. We all know like how we want to play, and it's just a matter of perfecting the playstyle. And I think we'll get where we want to be.
All right, okay. I've got one final question for Nakari, and then we'll start wrapping things up. Nakari, you've got two ways of playing TF2 here. You've got Am's way, you've got Kado's way. Which way is the better way to play TF2 in your opinion?
Like, Am's playing his own game kinda, and I can respect that, because you don't just quit 7 for no reason. Like, he just pursues his dream of like taking fat solos. But I still much rather prefer the AFK gaming, like the established, like holding the choke for like 30 minutes. So you gotta go with the Kado.
All right, there you go, boys. Nakari has spoken. It's time to put down all those arms, and bow to Kado. So, all right, boys, you've been absolutely wonderful. I would even give a shout out to Starkey if he was still here, but Gem threw him out, so we might have to shout out to him preemptively going into these shout outs. But we're going to start alphabetically as per usual. Every one gets a good shout out. So AMS, start me off with my first good shout out.
Shout out to Sebozai, and shout out to Domo and Polygon. Just shout out to my team. I love this. I love those guys. They're awesome. And except Connor, I don't really like Connor.
Bro.
Yeah, shout out to the enemy team for a good game. I hope you guys have a blast in the rest of your season. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Connor.
Shout out to my team, obviously Set Dams, and shout out to you guys for casting.
That is a correct
on the
shout
show.
out. Well done, Connor. Ding, ding, ding. You get the fucking bonus car at the end of the show. All right.
That's thing is.
Akari, shout out for the boys.
Thanks for playing Ascent.EU. Thanks for casting Team Fortress TV. And shout outs to Charlie Adams. You were good, son. Real good. Maybe even the best.
Peter.
I will just shout out every Gemm for streaming, TurboTabs for being back in casting.
Oh.
Good game overall, and then submit your demos to the ETF2L thread that I
There
made.
you go.
Yeah,
I guess that's
I
Pete.
made another demo call. It's important.
Oh, I think Peter's trying to say submit your demos, but he must be smashing the keyboard because he's so infuriated with you guys not sending his bloody demos. God damn it, guys. Well, I'm embarrassed. I am dreadfully embarrassed. I'm very sorry, Peter. Cutting you off there.
No. Alright, so in case you guys didn't hear it, you should submit your demos to the ETF12 thread. Alright, third time's the charm. Do it. It's currently, I don't know, I think I got it up a little bit late this season, but I had to log in to do it, so that made it take another 2 weeks because I don't like logging in with Steam. I will just put things off because of that, so too bad. But other than that, just to have a good night, and we've got the Day of Doom tomorrow with all the games, so we will be back with a vengeance.
Oh boy. Alright, guess I've got the final shout out. I'm not sure if they could hear Gemm, but I'm going to give my first big shout out to Gemm because I kind of threw him under the bus for a lame joke at the beginning of the cast. I'm sorry, Gemm. I just wanted to entertain the people. No, you don't deserve it. It's okay. Alright, and I'm going to give a big shout out to our guests tonight, AMS, Nakari, and Connor, and Starkey as well, for joining us on the interview. And they've been wonderful gamers, and Ascent will take away this match against goonsquad in this TFTV production of ETF2L Season 33, Week 4 of 7. And it was Logjam, it was Process, and two big shout outs. A big shout out to my co-caster Beta. Please submit your demo, guys. And finally, a personal shout out to Ida. Alright, okay, that's us. That's it. We're done now. We can pack up, boys. Start getting things in boxes, Gemm. You can stop pressing the buttons now. We can end things. AMS, Nakari, Connor.